honeybees, my name is Raven, this is Jasper, this is October, and welcome back to our channel. Subscribe to become part of the hive. Be sure to like and ring the notification bell. Thanks, honeybees. Enjoy the video. Meow. So it's December. There's a lot of movies that I saw recently, that I would love to make a video about, but it's December, so I feel like I had to do like a Christmas movie. So I'm going to talk about Violent Night and Christmas Bloody Christmas, which are two like murder Santa Claus movies, just because I thought that'd be fun. And I like Christmas movies that like differ from the norm. I've been watching a Christmas movie every day this month, and I'm surprised constantly every year how many movies are basically just a retelling of a Christmas story. Like I saw Spirited with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. That was like the first one I saw this month. And it's just, I mean, it's an interesting take, but it's just like a Christmas Carol. And Scrooged is a great movie, but it's about the Christmas Carol, and Muppets Christmas Carol and all this other stuff. So I'm always looking for like different, like unique Christmas movies that like aren't just like about the origin of Christmas and you know, the Scrooge and someone's got to gain back their Christmas spirit. Like I feel like every Christmas movie is like a variation of those themes. Like, you know, a Christmas movie kind of has to be about Christmas or happen on Christmas to be a Christmas movie. But there's just a lot more you can do with that, I feel, than just like Scrooge and the Three Ghosts or like the origins of Santa Claus. You know what I mean? So for that reason, my favorite Christmas movies are the ones that are different, I guess. They just have a different theme, you know? So, like, for example, I really love the movie Mixed Nuts, which not a lot of people have heard of. It's a Steve Martin Christmas movie. It's really funny. It's like a dark comedy. It happens on Christmas. It's undeniably a Christmas movie. Krampus, this horror Christmas, two things that I really love. I love Christmas movies. I love horror. I love when they are combined because it's like this happy, joyous occasion mixed with something dark. And I think that that's really interesting and hasn't been explored all that much, at least not in like a super interesting way. Obviously, you got all those Krampus knockoffs and you got tons and tons of killer Santa Claus movies, but most of them are not good. And we're going to talk about two of them today. So all that being said, that's why I watch these movies, Violent Night and Christmas Bloody Christmas, because I'm a huge fan of Krampus and Christmas movies that deviate from the norm. Sometimes they have a little bit of darkness in them, you know. I was really interested in these ones. One, I was interested in Violent Night because David Harbour is in it. And I actually I reacted to the trailer to this back in October. I reacted to some upcoming horror movies, and Violent Night was one of them. I kind of lied in that video because I said like I was really looking forward to it, and like I was, but I had actually already seen it at that point. I saw an early screening of it a couple months back. I want to say maybe like in September, August, summertime, early there. And I haven't seen it since it came out, but I remember it pretty well, and I doubt they changed a whole lot, so I still feel like I can talk about it. And then Christmas Bloody Christmas, I've seen it be like directly compared to Violent Night on like Twitter and stuff like that because it's both like a killer Santa Claus movies, but they're very different. Just the fact that there's a Santa Claus like with an axe killing people in either one does not mean they're similar at all, which sounds weird, but we'll get into it. Anyway, let's just get started with Violent Night. I liked it. I did. The version I saw was unfinished, but just like the effects. So, you know, when he's in the sleigh in the beginning and he's like peeing out of the sleigh and getting drunk and whatever, I just saw the green screen. But story-wise, I thought it was pretty solid. There was a few parts like in the middle that kind of dragged, but you're going to hear that critique from me from most movies, because I'm a fan of just like cutting out the fat and getting to the point and having those like in between like boring scenes are like good for like character development, but I feel like not every like writer and director knows how to use the boring moments for character development, and that's kind of like in this case. There's a lot of in between scenes of like the main family, like they're being held hostage in this house, and there's a lot of scenes between them. And we got a few that were really great for that development. We learn about, well, let me go back. There's the main family. There's this rich grandmother. The main child in the movie, her name is Trudy. She is named after her grandmother Gertrude, who like has this whole fortune, and she's got her kids. Trudy's dad is like the favorite son, and then he's like separated from Trudy's mom. They're like having problems, and then she has another daughter who's like dating this like wannabe action star, and so he wants the grandma to invest, who like named her son Bertrude just to like try to get in good with her mom because she couldn't name she also wanted to name her child after her mom to get in her good graces, and they're all kind of like competing for her love essentially. Rich people, we don't like them billionaire style Christmas. That gets hijacked by John Leguizamo and his crew. He calls himself Mr. Scrooge. He's like a Christmas hater, you know, and he knows that she's got this fortune, and he's doing this big old plan to infiltrate like her catering company. So all the catering people for her big Christmas party are working for John Leguizamo, and they're doing this big heist to try to get money, right? And a lot of the movie is going back to this family inside of the living room where they're being held hostage. And in those scenes, while some of them were funny, there's the daughter with the son named Bertrude, who just really is like a kiss ass to her mom. That part was funny. The wannabe action star and how like haughty and like overconfident he is was really funny as well. And then like Trudy, who's like the only like good like kid person in the movie. She's like sweet, believes in Santa, just wants her family back together, wants everyone to be nice. Her parents are trying to make it work. They're kind of normal, and it's a lot about like greed, you know, very on the nose about greed actually. And Scrooge, John Leguizamo, is trying to like take all their money on Christmas Eve. And while this is happening, David Harbour Santa Claus is being Santa Claus. The movie actually opens with him like at a bar and getting drunk, and he's like, I don't even know how long I've been doing this forever. I started it. They don't appreciate nothing. People just want. Back to that theme of greed, you know. And that was funny. I have to say, David Harbour as Santa Claus is probably the best part of the movie. He's definitely the most interesting character. And it was just really great to see him as Santa, like the like old, like, you know, defeated Santa who's just sick of it all and doing it every year, and no one appreciates me or even believes in me, and I still do this crap. You know, that kind of like Santa Claus character I thought it was very interesting. You know, all those Santa Claus movies where Santa's, you know, happy and jolly like how we think Santa is. I like the deviation from the norm again. And he goes into this house like while this heist is happening, so he finds himself battling all these like bad guys in this person's house, and he's trying to escape and he can't, so he has no choice but to fight. And we find out through flashbacks like his like Norwegian origins, where he would like kill people, and he had this like hammer, and you know, I said axe earlier, and there's an axe at one point, but mainly this Santa's thing is a hammer. He's like killing people, and there's blood and gore everywhere. And you know what, I called this a Christmas horror movie, and I expected that going into it, but it's not real. It's definitely an action movie, maybe more of a thriller, but it's definitely not a horror movie because, you know, there's nothing supernatural going on. There's really no murderer. It's just like this heist, and Santa's killing the people, and the people are trying to kill Santa and the family, which isn't really a horror. Like, we know what's happening. It's pretty clear cut. There's a lot of fight scenes. So if you're going into it looking for like a horror, like Christmas Bloody Christmas more is, then you're not going to get that. But it's still good though. Yeah, and through these events, like, I do recommend the movie. I'm not going to give away every single detail because I do recommend it. I want people to watch it. You know, if you've already seen it, you know what happens. It's a lot of fighting. They do finally. Oh, Trudy gets to like communicate with Santa through this like walkie-talkie that she has that he can hear, and basically Santa, David Harbour, is like trying to convince the like John Leguizamo that he is Santa, and John Leguizamo was like, who the hell is this guy? Where'd you get this guy? The Navy SEALs? And it's funny. I really like John Leguizamo in it. I like John Leguizamo as an evil guy. He was also in The Menu this year. That was really good. I've talked about it on my TikTok, but not on my channel, but maybe I'll talk about that another time. So anyway, long story short, it doesn't really matter how it happens, but Santa saves the day with the help of Trudy. There's this big like scene outside, and things blow up, and at the end he like goes through the chimney and decapitates John Leguizamo through the chimney because he has this magic thing. He touches his nose, and then he like gets sent through the chimney, so he hangs on to John Leguizamo, and they shoot up, and it's cool. It's actiony. The only thing that like was kind of questionable about this movie. And I actually talked about this in the focus group after the preview screening. So if you don't know, if you go to preview screening, sometimes you get to stay afterwards for the focus group and like talk about the movie, and they record it and they give it to like the producers or something like that. And sometimes it's used for how to market the movie. Like they get your opinion on whether or not you think it's a horror or a thriller, and what age range you feel like it would be for, what gender you think would like it better. And they use that info to market the film. And sometimes if they show a movie early enough, they'll actually change some things, cut some things that maybe the audience felt like didn't make sense, add some things back if they can, if it's that early in the process. I feel like it wasn't early enough to have changed anything. That's why I feel comfortable talking about it without having seen it again. But I feel like they used mine like specifically to market it, because not long after I saw it was it being marketed, and it was like a fun, like action-y trailer. A lot focused on David Harbour, which I think like everyone in the focus group said that was our favorite part, was David Harbour as Santa Claus. And so I feel like they marketed the movie well. After the fact, when they started doing like more trailers, they definitely emphasized the action over any like horror that you might have thought it was about if you had only seen, the poster or read the description. But going back to what I said about the movie essentially being about greed and this rich family, it kind of is, but it's also like about believing in Santa Claus, which I thought was strange, because at the end of the film, unless they changed it since I saw it, leading up to the film, the beginning scene, Santa's complaining about greed and like giving everybody things, and they just want, and take. And then there's this family that they all want money, and Mr. Scrooge, John Leguizamo, he just wants the money. He doesn't believe in this Christmas crap. Christmas isn't real, and they're all take. We find out that Trudy's dad, the son of the main grandma, Gertrude, was going to steal all her money himself and pack it away and then just leave with his family so that his wife would get back together with him, because his family is like terrible and she doesn't want to be around them. And it's this whole story. I don't really care about that part. Let's just say another little complaint. The main couple, Trudy's parents, who are like separated and just trying to make it work for Trudy, we didn't really know a lot about them, and they do get back together at the end of the movie, and they have this whole kiss scene where they save each other, and then they kiss. I did not care. I didn't care. There wasn't a lot of setup. We didn't get a lot of personality from those two characters. We got the most personality from the characters we were supposed to hate. Really, even more than Santa. Really, we don't even know too much about him other than he's Santa, so what's more to know, The like selfish daughter and the wannabe action star. We got a lot of personality from them. The mom, we pretty much know everything we need to know about her. But then that main couple, it's like, why? I guess they're being separated because she doesn't like his family, but that's really all there is to their relationship and to them, so that when they do get back together at the end, you don't really care about it, other than I guess being happy for Trudy, because that's like what she wished for Christmas. But anyway, back to it being about greed. It's about greed up until the very end, when Santa is like dying because he's been shot a billion times, and everyone comes around him and they're like, we believe in Santa. I believe in Santa. And then he like comes back to life. But it's like, when was it about not believing in Santa Claus? So I don't know. You think it would be like, oh, we don't need our money, we're going to donate it to the homeless. And that like warms the Christmas cheer in his heart. Or it still would have been cheesy, but it still would have been about greed. And I guess they do like burn some money at the end to make a fire, but it wasn't really enough to like justify that as the conclusion to the point being greed. You know what I mean? Other than that, fun movie. I didn't really watch it for the morals. That's why I don't care that much. And I still liked it. And I still thought it was a good movie. I'll probably watch it again next year. It'll be nice to revisit and see the completed special effects. Maybe make an addendum if they did finish something like or change something that I'm talking about now, but probably not. But I will probably see it again. Again, David Harbour is the best part, and I just love John Leguizamo, so I like most things that he's in. And yeah, I mean, all in all, it was just a fun, gory Christmas movie. Lots of blood, not for the kids, not like Krampus where it's scary, but like kids can watch it. This one's for like teens to be like, oh, bro, did you see that? Santa just punched that guy. That's kind of what it's for. And, I find that stuff entertaining. So all in all, Violent Night, I'll give it like 3, maybe 3.5 out of 5, at least a 3. It was pretty good. So with that, I watched Christmas Bloody Christmas because they're both like killer Santa Claus movies coming out in 2022, and they were kind of like directly compared to each other, like I said, like on social media and stuff, and everyone thinks, oh, so cool, like there's all these like deviation from the norm bloody Christmas movies. There's a lot of movies like that, but these are probably more mainstream, if you can call Christmas Bloody Christmas mainstream. I think it was like direct to Amazon or something like that. And that's where I watched it. I didn't watch it in theaters like Violent Night, early in theaters for Violent Night. But Christmas Bloody Christmas, I did not like it. I thought I would. It looked like it would be fun, and it kind of was in concept. This is definitely more of a horror because in this one, Santa isn't even a person. He's an animatronic Santa that like came to life. I don't remember if they even explained it. He just sort of like did. Maybe he was like, there was like a jolt in the electricity or something like that. I really don't even remember that part because it didn't really matter. But he's in this toy store and he's this life-size Santa. He just comes to life and then just starts killing everybody around him, starting with the couple who's in the store, and they're like doing it like hardcore in the store after hours, and he comes and just like axes their heads. Like, it's that kind of movie. It's pretty sleazy, pretty trashy, pretty well made for what it was. I will give it that. My main problem with it though is that the lead character, Tori, is just so unlikable, so incredibly unlikable. And the main guy in it, I think his name is Robbie, they're like hanging out throughout the whole movie, and they're both just obnoxious people. Like, I would not be friends with them, and so they're hard to root for. And Tori especially, because she is like, she's the main character, she's the final girl. Spoilers, I don't recommend it though. I mean, watch it for fun. It doesn't matter if you know what happens. She's the final girl, so we see her through the bitter end of the film, and the whole time she is just so unlikable. And it's mainly just because of the dialogue. It's not like the actor's fault. Like, if she was meant to be a horribly obnoxious, unlikable person, she did a stellar acting job. She nailed the part, let me tell you. So did the main guy. They nailed their roles, if that's what they were going for. But you're supposed to root for a main character. I feel like you're supposed to root for the main character. By the end of it, I was like, when is the Santa just gonna axe her already? I'm over it. And it's because it sounds stupid, but it's just every other word is like fuck, shit, bitch. Like every conversation Tori and our other lead Robbie have, they're like friends. She like owns like a CD store, movie store, like this media store that's like lots of neon, and he works for her, and they decide to hang out. It's like Christmas Eve, and they go out drinking, and so it's like the whole night of them like going out drinking place to place. And every conversation that they have with each other or other people, they're like screaming it, they're yelling it, and it's like argument, and they're like teasing each other. We're supposed to feel the sexual tension, but it's just like annoying, and every other word is a curse. So it's like, how do you not fucking like the Titanic? I fucking love the Titanic. Are you kidding me, dude? You're a fucking bitch for not liking the Titanic. What? How could you even say that? It's like the most overplayed shit of all time, numbnuts. You're so fucking stupid. Like, that's literally the whole movie. The whole time they're talking, it's like that, and it's so annoying. Like, even after the horror starts happening, all she can do is scream and curse. Like, after Santa kills like people, like he like kills like her sister and her sister's boyfriend. Spoilers, he does kill Robbie. We're with him for like 2/3 of the movie, and then he's dead. And she, because they're at the bar. I'm getting ahead of myself. They're at the bar. They're like talking, and they're obnoxious, and I hate them. And then they move to their friend's toy store, which is that couple I was talking about earlier, and they're annoying as well. And then they leave and go to a different bar, and the couple that stays behind at the toy store, we see them, and again, they're like doing it, and they're like being like, oh yeah, being annoying and stupid. And then the Santa comes to life and just like axes them right there, and then leaves. And I guess he's just killing anybody in sight. And since it's like 2 a.m. at this point, they're like the only ones out. So that's why he's pursuing them. Well, they go back to her house. They like have their own sexual scene, which is playing in congruence with the scene of like Santa killing the neighbor, which is kind of cool. Like, that part was cool. Like the juxtaposition, like the split shots of her in her bed with Robbie and Santa's like killing people, and there's this hardcore music. that was a cool idea, I guess. I didn't hate every part of it, but just like anytime our leads were like talking, I was like, ugh, that really took me out of it. But anyway, so he like goes and to this like house, which is her neighbor's house, and like kills the kid that lives there and kills like the dad or whatever, and then sees her across the street and goes to her house and kills her family that's there, and her and Robbie get out, and the cops are there, and Santa kills a cop. And so Tori's like going to the police station, but it's like 3 a.m. on Christmas Eve, and like so there's only like 2 cops there, and Santa comes and they go to try to find Santa, and he kills them. Basically Santa kills everybody until it's literally just like Tori and Santa at like 3 a.m. in this town, and she like goes to her own store, and there's like 3 different like end battle scenes between them where we think the Santa is dead. We find out, obviously, or she finds out, because we've known the whole time, that he's electronic. He's not actually a person. Of course, that's what they think at first. But he's an animatronic. And so she like blows up a car with him underneath, and we're like, oh good, he's dead. He blew up. And she's like sitting down, relaxing with like a joint, like, oh my God, I can't believe I went through all that. And then he comes back to life, and she's like, ah, and screaming and trying to kill him. She turns on the sprinkler system in the store she's in, and that like short circuits him, and she does it again. She's like with the joint, like, oh, finally I'm done. And then he gets up again, and I'm like, God damn, just one of you die already. Just one of you die. Like, I'm over it. He ends up chopping her fingers off, which was like, oh, I didn't think that was gonna happen. Either she was gonna die or she was gonna get away scot-free. But then she finally kills him, gets him to stop working for real, like the 3rd time, and then it's over. But that's like so much of the movie is like, oh, we figure out how to kill him or get him to stop working, and then he's gone, but then he comes back, and so we have to do it a different way, and then he's gone. And it was just like, was there not like a more creative way to like end that? Or they thought like there wasn't enough action, so they needed to add another boss fight between Tori and Santa. Yeah, and and she was just, like I said, she was just annoying. There's this one part where she goes back to the police station before the cops that take her in are killed. They think that she killed the other cop that the Santa killed, and she's like screaming at them like, no, I didn't do it, no. And the one cop's being so mean for no reason, like, you killed him, did you? Who did it? Oh yeah, I'm sure, yeah, Santa killed them. It's like, is it that hard to believe that like a guy dressed as Santa killed somebody on Christmas Eve? Like, she's not saying legitimate Santa did it. She said a guy dressed as Santa is killing people. Like, is that really that hard to believe? that that's what happened on Christmas Eve? Someone got killed and it happened to be a guy dressed as Santa? I feel like I would believe her. And she's like super covered in blood in this point, like all over her face, blood just from the cop. And she drove the cop car to the police station, and so they're like, you killed him, and everyone's screaming at each other, and it's just so annoying. I was like, why? I don't understand why they're mad at her right now. Like, she had to get out of there. Beside the point. This is more, I didn't write any notes for Christmas Bloody Christmas because I knew it was just going to turn into like a rant once I just got started on it. So that's kind of what it is. Sorry. But anyway, the one cop who's yelling at her goes to check out the scene finally. And then the other cop is like, go clean yourself up in the bathroom. She goes into the bathroom, looks at herself in the mirror, and sees that she is completely covered in other people's blood. The other cop, Robbie, her sister, all the blood is all over. Her face is completely red with blood, obviously her whole outfit. She sees herself in the mirror, and then instead of like splashing water on her face or even washing her hands, she just sits down in the bathroom and lights a joint. She does that like 3 or 4 times where she's like, oh, this is heavy, man, and just lights a joint. And then, you know, Santa comes later and she's running around and she's covered in blood the whole rest of the film. It's like, I would probably wash my face before lighting up a joint, but that's just me. Like, I don't really want to be covered in like somebody else's blood, but that's just me, you know? And just reinforced how annoying I found her as a character. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Tori's the last one alive. She's lost her fingers. The animatronic Santa is finally down for the count. Finally. And then it's over. And it was a very obnoxious and annoying experience. I had fun a little bit, you know. The kills were cool. It was fun to see the Santa like chopping everybody up. You know, you didn't need to like explain why he was killing or motivation. You know, it's animatronic Santa Claus short circuited or something like that, and now he's killing people. Cool. I don't need to know more. You know, I don't need the backstory. That's fine. As long as it's cool, that's fine. And it would have been so much better if the main character was likable and not extremely obnoxious. If I saw her in person, I would just and I would walk, like I would vocally go ugh and walk away because of how annoying she was. Like, so fucking stupid. And that's what killed the movie. The rest of it, like, if I take her out of it and the other guy out of it, even he was, like, a little bit more likable than her, the main guy, Robbie, even though he was doing the same thing. But she's just even more... I can't stress enough. I just can't stress enough how annoying this character is. But anyway, that's it for Christmas Bloody Christmas. If I had to pick, I would definitely choose Violent Night, even though the kills in Christmas Bloody Christmas were fun, and that was definitely the best part. And I did like the aesthetic of the film, like the neon of all the stores and like the lights, and you know, it was Christmassy. Violent Night had more of a refined like Christmas aesthetic, aside from Santa being like covered in blood and killing people. And like, you know, the kills in that movie were good too. Like there's one where he puts pool balls into a stocking, and like I think that part's in the trailer, and like uses that to kill a guy. And there's one where he puts a light in someone's mouth and it like explodes and he's on fire. Like, that's cool. But then a lot of it is like gunshots and stuff like that, which is like a little bit too action movie for me when it's just like, you know. And that movie had that. But otherwise, it's this fancy holiday at this mansion, and so everything looks really nice and Christmassy, but this like horrible, scary thing is happening at the same time as like a juxtaposition. I really liked that aesthetic going for it in Violent Night, whereas Christmas Bloody Christmas was more like a down and dirty type of trashy Christmas vibe. So, you know, both were very interesting. I appreciated the concepts of both. Both were pretty unique. Again, looked good. That's like the main point for both of them, is that they both looked good in my opinion. Violent Night had a bit of a better story. The story did drag on a little bit. There is a little bit too much of like, oh, Santa's down and he's got to get back to it and figure out how to fight again. And he's like, oh, getting back into the swing of things, you know, and that scene kind of happens twice in two different ways, where Santa's down and he's got to get back into the swing of things and get used to fighting again because he hasn't done it in a millennia. So it was a little slow to build, but it makes up for it by, you know, David Harbour being so charming as sassy Santa Claus, and his relationship with Trudy, the main girl. He's trying to save her, and it was like really endearing actually, and the family trying to like come together. You know, as basic as that is conceptually for a Christmas movie, I appreciated how it was done. The ending chimney kill with John Leguizamo was really interesting. So it did have interesting kills. It's just like Christmas Bloody Christmas had interesting kills in like a bloody, gory, there's a lot kind of way, and Violent Night was a little bit more technical, I guess I could say, with how interesting their kills are, like very intentional. And then Christmas Bloody Christmas was just like a killy gore fest, you know. Both to be appreciated differently. I would definitely prefer Violent Night, just for the charm of some of the characters alone, and not all of them were. Some were definitely really annoying, but like they were supposed to be, so like it made sense that some of the characters were like obnoxious and unbearable. And then in Christmas Bloody Christmas, that's literally our protagonist is the most obnoxious person across both movies, so, and she wasn't even the villain. So that's it. Violent Night and Christmas Bloody Christmas, two Christmas horror movies that I saw recently, two murdery killer Santa Clauses, but completely different executions. I would definitely recommend Violent Night just because I thought it was a lot of fun and just generally a better movie for all reasons previously stated. Christmas Bloody Christmas, it's not that I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, watch it at like a Christmas party with your friends just to have on in the background and like laugh at occasionally as you drink or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it's fun, I guess. Mostly I recommend it so you can see what I'm talking about with how like unlikable the main character is. But maybe you'll disagree. Maybe you'll like it, you know? I don't know. They're both fun. It's all for fun. So, I mean, that's kind of it for my Christmas review, my holiday killer Santa Claus movie review. There's a few other movies that like I want to talk about pretty soon that were like better actual big movies like The Whale and Bones and All, maybe The Menu. I don't know. There's a lot that I saw recently that are really, really good. I'm actually really excited for my end of the year recap of all the movies I saw that came out this year. So definitely look out for that. Other than that, happy holidays, everybody. I hope you're all having a great December, a great Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching, honeybees. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.
Meow.